Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Sacred Exchange, where souls meet, hearts transform, and love leads the way. I'm Catherine.
And I'm John.
And we are excited to talk to you guys today about expectations.
Yes.
And the problem with having expectations.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is, it's a pretty big thing to talk about, right? I mean, I know we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
It has come up a lot.
Yes, this week it's been like
right? Yeah.
all of the irritation that we've both experienced.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, I've created expectations here. And this is why I'm suffering right now.
Yeah, and I want people to take a look at when they're frustrated. Is it really the person that's frustrating them or the thing that's frustrating them? Or have they created this frustration? And I know it sounds a little bit silly and it sounds a little harsh.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I need to own this, but are you creating that?
Yes, and like understand that we both get caught up in our own expectations without even realizing that it was an expectation that we created that allowed us to be disappointed in whatever was happening. And so I think it's so hard to be able to navigate it from a human level,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like on the human level, people should just show up professionally.
Yes.
On a human level, you shouldn't have to be the only person to clean your house. On a human level, it's natural to expect people to show up and to care for you.
And to be decent, right?
Yes.
Like in general, just to be a good human or whatever.
Yes. But not everybody's capable of that. Right? Which is like...
Everybody's capable of it. Right?
Well, we could say that everybody's capable of it. Not everybody chooses it. Okay.
No.
Also, I don't necessarily know that everybody truly is capable of it.
I want to firmly believe that if everybody is... I'm capable of it, so everybody has to be capable of it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Everybody has the capability of being decent. Has the capability of being a good human.
Okay.
It is your expectation that they're already a good human that causes the problem, right? So we ran up against some issues and some things in real life this week where it was
there's
like...
lots of life happening this week.
I have a scenario where, yes, I was in a situation where I was getting upset because somebody wasn't acting very professional.
Yeah.
And it really stirred things in me. And
Yeah.
I started thinking, oh, and to this point, like, were they acting professional? No, but I was getting upset about it. And that's on me.
Yeah.
Sure, they're going to act however they're going to act. And remember this, people are going to act naturally, how they're going to react and how they act, whatever.
Yeah.
It's my reaction that I can control.
Yes.
It's my expectation that that person
Yes.
was going to act and be a professional, where I should have, if I didn't have that expectation, then I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah. And I think what we were running into this week is like, well, it's natural to have an expectation when you're at work that people are going to be professional because it's a workplace, and what is required at a workplace is professionalism. But again, that doesn't mean that everybody shows up professionally.
No.
And so having to meet that part of yourself that truly has that expectation of this is how it's supposed to be because it's work. It's like, to me, it only makes sense, right? And yet, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's how people are going to show up.
And herein lies where we hijack ourselves, right? We have this conception that people are going to be a certain way. They're going to show up a certain way because I want them to show up a certain way.
Yeah.
I, yes, have an expectation that they're going to show up a certain way.
Yeah.
And when they don't, I get mad at them for not doing what I want them to do, even though I didn't tell them to be a certain way.
But even if you did tell them to be a certain way, it is not their job to meet what you told them they have to be in order to make you happy.
Absolutely.
Right? And
Absolutely.
That's another hard pill to swallow, because it's like we've been taught, you set boundaries and you teach people how to treat you and all of this sort of stuff. But it's no one's job to make sure you're happy. It's no one's job to make sure I'm happy. Yeah. And I believe in our society, a lot of us do believe, and I know I've gotten caught up in it, and I still get caught up in it, where it's like, why aren't they doing anything to make me happy? Like, they should perform in a way that makes me happy. And it's like, it's not a choose your own movie here.
Yeah.
You don't get to create the characters in the way you think you do. And yet, it's twofold, because we are creating our reality. So then we have to ask, why do I keep creating people that are not what I prefer? Yeah. Why do I keep creating interactions that are not what I prefer? If I truly believe that everybody at a workplace is supposed to be professional, then am I showing up professional at work? Or I don't know, there's more to it than that. I feel like,
well, I get there is some mirroring there, right? Because you're right. I mean, you choose. I mean, we create our own reality.
Yeah.
And we're bringing these people into our existence.
Yeah.
So you're mirroring something back to you that you're not hearing.
Yeah.
But I think there is that human piece that is entangled in there as well, right? Well, and we say human piece, but we mean like,
it's like just trying
regular everyday life stuff.
Yeah, because we're trying to bring these spiritual concepts of have no expectations and you'll never be disappointed, right? You try and bring that in and you go, okay, so I'll let go of my expectations, but because I'm human, I'm going to experience just naturally putting expectations on, and sometimes not even realizing, I didn't realize I had an expectation that when I'm at work, people should be professional.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think we can get blindsided by our expectations at times.
Well, and I think that you can't not have any expectations, but I do think it is good for people to have an awareness that you have expectations, that it's you that's doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we can't remove that because we've been indoctrinated into this, that, here's the cookie, or here's the gold star, or here's the paycheck, whatever
there's a reward system. Yeah.
But just knowing that it's not them, it's not what else out there that is causing you to be upset. It's you that have created that. And just knowing that you've created it, you can start turning that around and looking at you versus pointing the finger at everybody else.
Well, and I often think too, like, if I've got disappointment inside of my body, then that energy is going to contribute to what it is I'm creating in the world, because that energy wants to be expressed through me. And so if I've got disappointment, I'm going to create scenarios that's going to allow that disappointment to come up so it can actually be heard. So I could actively seek, where is the disappointment in my body, and can I release it before having before creating it in my reality, so that I don't actually have to experience this anymore if I don't like it that much. Mm-hmm. Right? And most of us are afraid to meet those parts of ourselves, and then when the disappointment comes up, or the frustration or the anger or whatever, we kind of get mad that that's now showing up.
Yeah.
Because we have an expectation that I shouldn't have to feel any of these emotions. But it's like, you created those emotions for yourself, and now you're creating the resistance of the emotions, and now you're creating a block so the emotions can't be expressed, which means you're now creating it out here in this reality. So you must actually really like this emotion.
Yeah.
Because you're holding on to it with everything you've got.
There's definitely something that you need to learn, or something that you need to transcend from that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If it keeps coming up, that's another thing. If you start seeing patterns of stuff and behaviors and whatnot, that absolutely life is trying to tell you something, or divinity or God or whatever is trying to tell you, hey, take a look at this.
Yeah.
And really take a look at it, not just glaze over it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I started reading A Course in Miracles last night again, when you had gone up to the shower. And it's something earlier in the day had told me, like, hey, pick up the book and start reading it again. And then our daughter ended up coming home and we were chatting, and I never got to reading it. And then when you went to have a shower, at that point I had frustration that was coming up around my own expectations and disappointment that I was feeling, which I had shared with you. And then when I picked up the book and started reading, it was literally about having expectations on people. And that as soon as we place an expectation on someone, we don't allow them to perform in their own natural function.
Yeah.
Right? It's like putting an expectation on rain that it's going to keep you dry, and then being disappointed that rain makes you wet. And it's like, rain is just doing what rain does.
Yeah.
Right? And each person is just doing as each person is meant to be doing at that time.
Yeah.
And that's the hard pill to swallow, because we think I'm allowed to judge this, and I'm allowed to say this is good and this is bad and whatnot. And as soon as we do that, we're creating more of that separation between us and the other person, which is like the opposite of what divinity is wanting to work through us. It's like divinity's like, this person's fine. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the narrative and whatever that we create of people should be this way, and this is how because this is the way I do it. Everybody else should do it this way.
Yeah.
And when they don't,
we get mad.
We get upset about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think sometimes too, it's an invitation to ask ourselves, like, can I give myself permission to be a bit more like them? Right? Yeah. Where it's like, if you think the only way you can receive reward at work is if you're as professional as possible, would it be possible to allow yourself to be a little bit less serious about how professional you are, and instead be a little bit more playful at work as well? Do you know what I mean? The expectations I played yesterday, would it be okay? Is there something triggered from me saying that?
No. Okay. I'm plenty playful at work. Maybe I need to be more professional as well, but...
So that might have been what it's triggered, but it's like looking at both sides of the coin. Like, would it be okay a little bit for me to just try this on a little bit? To just be a little bit more reckless, or to just... I think yesterday the thing that was coming up for me was like how little care people had for each other, right? But I was also talking about wanting that external validation from others. And so it's like, it's a twofold thing of a part of me is like, how can they not care at all? And also, I want this external validation. I know I shouldn't be going after the external validation. I need to care less. So of course, these people not caring at all is going to trigger me, because I want to not care like they do, but I care too much.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, oh, I can try that on for a little bit. Let me see, what does that feel like? Yeah,
and that one's hard. We've talked about this before. Is just being, I don't know, not, as best I can describe it. Not caring, not whatever, right? And it's not in our DNA. Like, I've tried to be that person, and I just come back to being the same.
Well, and that's where it's like, it's your natural function.
Yes.
Right? And my ego fights against it constantly, going like, I just want to not care. Yeah. I just want to be an ass to them. I want to tell them to F off. I want to tell them to whatever.
I want to get revenge. I want to do
the
same tit for tat.
But it's like, if I do that, I'm going to be so hard on myself, because now I've been an unloving, uncaring kind of person, and that's not who I am.
Yeah, I think the trick would be you have to stay in that. You can't flip-flop.
Yeah.
Right? You would have to be, like, committed to that journey. Yeah. It's all about me. It's all about what I want.
Yeah.
And nobody else, and that's it.
And here's the thing, talking about like trying on other hats, I have been that person who has used my words to destroy another person, right? And I've had a habit in the past of like knowing, oh, this is the thing that's going to trigger you the most. These are the words I'm going to throw at you. And then the guilt that I felt after doing that, it's like, well, that's not worth it. So when those thoughts come up now of like, oh, I just wish I could say, it's like I have to weigh it out with that other part of me. Okay, so if you say that, are you willing to feel all of this guilt that's going to come along with that? And so I guess I have an expectation on myself at this point, because it's like I've tried that on. I don't necessarily like the results of it.
Yeah.
So now I have an expectation of show your best face, but then I think at this point in time, I feel guilty for having those thoughts still come up of like wanting to tell someone exactly where to go or
yeah, we
whatever.
talked about this a little bit, right? And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I could be wrong, but you're acknowledging, and I'm not saying you're the only person. I have these as well, and I assume lots of people do. But you're acknowledging that it's there. You're not acting on it.
Yeah.
It's there. I know you're there. But
we're going to choose different.
There's a different way to go about this, right?
Yeah. And I think, like when you say there's nothing wrong with that, I agree with you, because I think that first thought is like, it's kind of like our foundational beliefs or whatever of like, this is how I was taught to respond to this, or this is like my ego's response to this. But then that higher mind kind of comes in and goes, okay, I get you. You're mad. You're upset. I know you want to say all these things.
How much of this did you create?
Yeah. You don't say that. It's the ego part. I did not create this. Because we don't want to take responsibility for it, right? We really want to blame the other person. Yeah. We really want to challenge them to change because we think, but as soon as we allow ourselves to take that full responsibility, any part of them that is like in that energy, that program can't play on you anymore.
Yeah.
As soon as you lose your expectations, they have the freedom to become whoever they want to become, which is how it's naturally supposed to be, and truly how I want to be treated as well. Like, don't tell me who I need to be to please you. Allow me to just express myself in the best ways I can, and in that, you should be happy with me.
Well, you should be happy. If you're happy or not, it's doesn't really matter, right?
But it's
I'm happy with me, and this is gonna sound bad, but like I really had, I want to say don't care, but I do.
No, you've taught me to not care.
What a lot of people think, or because the version of me that is much different than the version of the kids, what the kids know, or what the people at work know, or friends and family know, right?
Yeah.
So I know me. I know my version of me that I am.
Yeah.
And I like that person.
Yeah.
So what people think, they're going to think whatever they want. And I'm not going to try and stop them from thinking however they want to think about me.
Yeah.
That's up to them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. To me, it's like if I'm in my truest light, if I'm like, just sitting here sharing my heart with you and stuff, there really should be nothing in between us that makes you feel like, oh, she's placing these expectations on me. Mm-hmm. It's because I wouldn't, in my natural state, be placing expectations on you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there wouldn't be any of this, I have to shrink here, or I have to expand here, or anything. It's just, this can naturally flow between us now.
But I think what I was kind of going towards is so many people spend a lot of their life looking at how many likes they get, or if they're liked by this person, or what this person thinks, instead of looking, do you like yourself?
Yeah.
Do you love yourself? Do you love this avatar?
Yes.
If you can't do this, then how can you go and then put expectations on other people that they should be a certain way if you can't even be harmonized with yourself?
You're 100% correct. And I've struggled with this, like so much of believing other people's opinions or that their validation of my experience is... It's almost like a permission ticket. Like, oh, these people like it. Awesome. I can keep going. Yeah. Oh, these people don't. Oh, I've got to shrink. And it's very much based on childhood expectations and stuff of make these people happy or else. And that's okay at this point in time. But I'm still finding myself undoing from all of that kind of external validation and my desire for that external validation. I have a really hard time validating myself or believing in my validation of myself. like especially depending on how people react to it, where it's like when I say speak my truth or I express what I think is like love, and someone's like, that's not love, and then I'm like, I've hurt them, and that's not what I intended to do. And and so it makes me question everything, like, do I even know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and just, well, I want to touch on 2 points. We just had this experience a little while, like today, right? We were talking about validation, looking for external validation.
Yeah.
How many times do we not recognize external validation?
So
right? Because we talked about this quite extensively last night.
Yeah.
And then, what I said was, we really, me included, don't pay attention to the subtle things that externally validate us.
Yeah.
These little messages or little things that happen, these little synchronicities that go, oh, here's your external validation. We just bypass it.
Yeah.
And move on with our day instead of giving it that, oh.
Well, yes, because it to me, it's like, it's amazing if you have one person with a negative comment, right? That negative comment can just feel so heavy, and you kind of buy into it, and you think, oh gosh, is this true about me or whatever? And you have to really look at it.
Yeah.
And when there's positive comments that are coming in, they're a lot lighter. It's a lot harder to hold on to that. Yeah. It's kind of like experiences in life as well. Like, we do tend to cling on to the negative experiences or the heavier emotions. It's a lot harder to move through anger than what it is to move through happiness. We're not even aware that we're moving through happiness in the moments that we're feeling happy. We're just going, let me hold on to this forever, right? When we're in anger, we're like, you need to know I'm in anger. This person needs to know I'm in anger. Like, everybody needs to know how angry I am right now. And again, looking for that kind of external validation. Do I have a right to be angry about this? And really feed all of my anger right now, because it's hungry for that validation. Yeah. Where with happiness, I don't say to you, like, is it okay that I'm this happy over this? Like, should I be this happy? It's like, no, I'm just happy. Yeah. I'm owning it. And so, yeah, it's interesting, because I was bypassing all these kind of external validations yesterday, and then even this morning a little bit, and then it was like, because I think I said last night, like, I just need some sort of sign that says I'm doing the right thing and I'm on the right path. And then there was messages coming in from people, and then all of the clients that I had this morning, it was like this feedback of, hey, you are on the right path.
And I will just share with our group that that it was a kind of a aha moment, I guess.
Yeah.
Because you weren't even paying attention to it, right? And I was like, I pointed this out. I could hear the words that you're speaking about, comments and this and that, and then you're just continuing on with the conversation. I'm like, whoa, stop a second. Did you hear what you just said?
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I totally bypassed it, where it was like, oh, this feels kind of nice or whatever.
But is that external validation too small? I'm looking for this grandiose...
Well, aren't we all? Like this big giant sign that says, you are on the right path. And when it's like coming in going, hey, I like the path that you're on. It's like, well, that's not you are on the right path. It's this person is gelling with it.
But you're never going to see the big ones if you don't notice the small ones, right?
Exactly.
It's like we talk about miracles and people looking for miracles. There's a lot of miracles that happen every day.
Yeah.
The fact that we function, the fact that this is what it is a miracle, and we just bypass it as, nope, this is just every day.
Show me something
this is
more.
what it should be.
Yeah.
And I think we do the same thing with these validation pieces. Is they're there.
Yeah.
We're just looking for more and more and more. And if you don't give credit to the small things.
Well, and I think that brings it back to expectations as well, right? Yeah. Because we can sometimes bypass, like we might be caught in a story that's telling us this person doesn't care about me. And then we'll look for all of the evidence. Like, do you see all these things that they're doing that's like, it's not caring about me? But then we're bypassing all of the things that actually do show that they do care about us. And one of the things that I've heard is like, well, they've always done that. so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what they do. That doesn't matter. I'm looking for all of this. And it's like, well, if they've always done this, like they've provided, say, a safety or a stability or a whatever, you can count on them for that.
Yeah.
That is still absolutely care.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes we do tend to bypass, or we get almost so used to it that when it's just constantly there, we're just not noticing what the person is actually contributing. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it is a struggle to have expectations going through life, and you get upset and realizing that expectation, or that the reason that you're upset is your expectation.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's a hard pill to swallow, because it's like, no, I want to be mad. And we talked about this a little bit too, where it's like, no, I want to, and I'm fine with it. Yeah, be mad. But that come to the end and realize it's not them. It's not you. It's you.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a ton of different things that you can look at, but look at all of these different situations. You know, if somebody's not being unprofessional, or somebody's not showing you love, if somebody didn't clean up the kitchen or didn't do the dishes, that is still you projecting that expectation that it is going to be this way.
Or that it should be this way.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But you can get angry about it. I have no problems with that. Get angry. Get it out. Release that energy.
Yeah.
But then come back to go, right.
I created this. Because here's the thing, we're always self-serving, right? And so even as we're creating experiences, we're serving the parts of us that are just wanting to be expressed. And so if you have anger that's wanting to be expressed, you're just going to create situations that allow your anger to be expressed. Yeah. But it's like, we don't have to create external expectations or external experiences in order to express that anger. Like, you can sit in meditation with yourself and pull up your anger and be with it and release it in that sense. Or because I think anger is a very physical kind of energy. It's like, I want to punch you, kind of energy. Yeah. So you could go do a workout, you could go for a walk with your anger, dance with your anger, or whatever, and find those different ways to express it. Because it's like, I have coffee in my cup right now. So if you hit my cup and out comes coffee, it's only because I have coffee in here.
Yeah.
If it was empty and you hit it, nothing would spill out. If there was water in it and you hit it, water would spill out. And so it's not your fault for hitting the cup. It's whatever I have in here is just what's going to spill out. So if you've always got anger spilling out, then it's not the other people's fault that you have anger. You just have anger in your cup. Mm-hmm. So why not just get the anger out of your cup if you really don't like it? If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, bring what you want in your field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really, like, when you look at it that way too, it's, you can have, and we're putting a negative on this, right? So you can have great expectations too.
Yeah.
And you can have, again, it's hard to not have expectations.
Yeah. But why not also, have expectations that are going to, like...
You're going to do amazing things. Like, I know that you're better than this. And you can hold on to those, and those people will not show up in that way.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they may at some points, but... you could have this thought or this expectation, you're going to do amazing things, and this person is not at that moment. But communicating and expressing that expectation of them about, no, I see the good in you. I know you can overcome this. I know you're better than this. And it just, to me, helps affirm or reaffirm to them, no, I do see the divine in you. I do see the good in you.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm placing an expectation on you, but I'm trying to do it in a loving way.
Yes.
Right? Where I'm trying to bring out the best in you.
Absolutely.
Whether you believe it or not, I believe in you, and nothing's going to change.
Yeah. one of the things that we do before we start the podcast every time is saying to each other, the goddess in me honors the God in you, the God in you honors the goddess in me.
Yep.
And it's kind of our set point before we get on to the podcast to just truly remember the divinity within each of us, so that we're expressing divinity through us and whatnot. And yeah, to go along with what you're saying is we need to remember the divinity within each person and to hold on to the vision of that divinity within each person. Because if we're just seeing them as like a piece of crap human who's never going to amount to anything more than the stuff that they're doing or whatever, how could they ever possibly grow out of that?
Yeah.
And I get it. Someone's disappointed you time after time after time after time. You start to lose faith that they're going to ever actually reach this point. But when you can hold on to that faith, when you can hold on to the image of this person is divine, right? Like every single one of us is made in God's image.
Yeah.
So can we see them in God's image despite how they're showing up?
Yeah, and I think you have to just go with this, that they're at this point of their journey. I'm at my point of my journey. And that's just it.
Yeah.
They'll get to where they need to go.
Yeah.
And I don't have control over that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't, and nor should I want to.
It's just
right?
like, how special do you want to be?
Yeah.
And most of us operate, like the ego does come in and it really does believe that it is special.
Yeah.
And it believes that its way of doing life is the best way of doing life. But it's only like our version of how life should be done based on the experiences that we've had, the consequences that we've faced, the rewards that we've received. And then we go, and this is how everyone should do life.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, that's just your experience of life. And we've got 8 billion people on the planet right now who all have their own different version of how life should be done.
Yeah.
Right? And we all fight each other going, it should be done this way. And it's like, what's the proper way to make a pizza? However you make a pizza, it doesn't matter. What's the proper way to eat a pizza? However you best enjoy eating your pizza, it doesn't matter. And there's so many rules and so many expectations placed on society and passed down through generations and through society and culture and religious contexts and all of that says be this way or don't, like you're going to be punished in this way or whatever. And it's just, it's so collapsing for our society.
Well, and I think a lot of those things in general, it is, there's purpose. The purpose is to divide. The whole sides, right? The good, the bad, black, white.
Yeah, the duality
whatever,
of it. Yeah.
Is there purposefully to create division. Mm-hmm. If we could all just remember that we are all collective, we are a collective body, that we need to function together.
Yep.
And look past these things, expectation, look at that person and go, hey, I remember being in that place. Hey, whatever, you do you.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. Just let them be the way they are.
Yeah.
Because they're part of that communal, the oneness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting too, because like when we look at nature, right? If you're walking through the forest and you see a tree that's like, I don't know, maybe it got knocked over in a storm and now there's like a new tree that's growing out of it, right? So it's like it's defying the laws of nature because it's like you should have been dead, but look at you, you're still growing. We don't look at the tree and go, you're not doing this right. Don't you see all of the other trees? Like you're supposed to be doing it like this and this isn't right. This isn't how it's supposed to be. We allow the tree to just be the tree that it is. And without that judgment, the tree just gets to become whatever the tree was meant to be in the first place. Yeah. Right? And I feel like if we could offer that same grace to humans, and here's the thing, I run up against edges against that all the time, where it's like, I do think, oh, it shouldn't be like that, or they shouldn't be like that, or how could they possibly think that, or whatever. And then it's like, right, because they're not me. It's okay. It's okay. And do you remember, I don't remember what beer commercial it was. was a few years ago now, but essentially they like put all these strangers together, and they had to share a beer, and they each one ended up finding like a commonality between them, where it was like one person, they're like talking about their childhood and that they lived on this street, and then the person that they're having the beer with is actually living in the house that they lived in. So like the people who brought all the people together knew what the connection was that these people would eventually find with each other, but they looked very different from each other, right? And like maybe one would be old and one would be young, or like one was like a motorcycle gang guy and the other guy was like a priest or whatever, and it's like these kind of unlikely connections. And the whole point of the commercial was, don't focus on what divides you, focus on what connects you. And there was so many really cool connections. Like I believe there was like one woman who was a nurse, and she actually delivered the child that she was sitting with, and like you know, it's just beautiful. And I think as humanity, sorry, I'm talking a lot. As a humanity, if we can just find those, like what keeps us connected,
well,
what makes us the same.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, continue on.
No, I'm done. I just wanted to say what makes us the same.
I think we don't look at our environment enough. You're absolutely right. Trees don't look at other trees and say you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
The ground doesn't look at the tree and go, why are you here?
Yeah.
You know, the air doesn't look at the tree and go, yeah, I'm not going to give you whatever you need today. Or the sun doesn't go and say, no, sorry, tree, you're this kind of tree. No, I'm not going to shine for you today.
Yeah.
You know, but we do it.
Yeah. Wayne Dyer actually once said, the sun has never looked at the earth and said, you owe me.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's another one that has come up quite often. We were talking about was the tit for tat, right?
Oh, yeah.
Always need to get even.
Yeah.
Know? And don't do that. Or try not to. I mean, it's easy to fall into that, like, getting revenge on somebody because they did something. It just perpetuates that. Like,
well, and it's like if you're planting seeds of revenge, right? Like, they did this to me, so now I'm going to do this to them because they deserve it, or whatever. If you're planting that seed of revenge, guess what you're getting back? Revenge.
Yeah.
Which is just going to fuel more anger. So you're just creating this kind of force field within yourself. But to do that act of forgiveness, right, instead, to plant those seeds of forgiveness is so freeing.
Yeah. It's like, when something happens, I don't know, whatever the scenario is now, more so I'm like, it's just awareness, right? It's like, oh, so this is what you've done, or what I can't even really have I don't really have an example of, say somebody cuts me off on my way to work.
Yeah.
I could choose to get mad about that, or I can be like, what I'm going to do, get revenge on them, I'm going to cut them off.
That's
so I'm just like, okay, what is the lesson in this, right? Why did this happen?
Yeah.
I think everything has purpose, and it's looking at those little things going, okay, so this is what you did. Yeah, I can choose to do the same thing, or I can choose to look at it in a different way, in a different light, and what does it mean to me?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think always having that curiosity as well so if it's happening where someone's cutting you off, then you can ask yourself, where am I cutting off my own life force? Where am I cutting off my best expansion of myself, or whatever it might be? I seen a video on Instagram this week, and it was a Kyle Cease video, and there was a woman on the video, and she was talking about needing to forgive people, and she felt like if she was to forgive whatever it was people had done, that it would basically be giving permission for it to keep going, right? And I understand that kind of concept, because just a few weeks ago I sent off a letter of forgiveness with money included in it, to go like, I'm forgiving you and I'm letting this go. But there was like so much of me that was like, I shouldn't be forgiving this, because it feels like it's just giving permission to go, it was okay.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not actually what it was. And what Kyle's response was essentially, when you forgive, the frequency that was attached inside of you over whatever that thing is, you're letting that go, which makes it less of a kind of structure here on earth, right? So if someone has been abusive towards you and you decide, I'm going to forgive this abuse, now there's a little bit less abuse because you're not holding on to all of that anger and resentment and stuff. And I thought that was a really powerful kind of way of putting it. But I also understand those edges that you can run up against, like, because it does feel like I'm giving them permission to just keep on doing this, or that it's okay for it to happen. And it's not.
No,
you know?
I don't, well, I mean, I think there's a different dynamic there, but I don't think it gives them permission, and I don't think it puts permission out there. I mean, the biggest work we can do is on ourselves.
Yeah.
And that transcends, and that will, you know, that does help the collective. Mm-hmm. We are all looking for this external, like, how can I save the world? No, save yourself.
I know.
Work on yourself, work on yourself, work on yourself. How can I make this person better? You be better. How can you do this? You know?
Yeah.
It's constant.
Yeah.
It's not like you can use and take a look at every example, use whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you can put it back to yourself.
Yeah. As someone who has been trying to save the world since I was a little girl, it's like, yeah, it really is an inside job. It has nothing to do with anything that's out there, because we're the creator of it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's, as long as you're recreating it within yourself and shifting it all over to love and compassion and whatever, or even just moving from anger up into grief or whatever it might be, allowing yourself to process and to move through it and to not get attached to any of it, is the greatest gift that you can give to this world. But it often feels like it's not enough.
Yeah.
Right? Or that it's not, because I run up against, like, it's not working fast enough.
I was just going to say that. We live in this era of, like, instant results, and we have this expectation that if I do this, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't right away, it's like, okay, well, then when? Then when?
Yeah.
I've done all this healing. I've done all this work. I've done all these things. Where's my cookie? Where's my reward?
Yeah.
Your reward is you get to wake up and do this all again.
Yes.
And you get to find out different things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and it's because you've been doing a lot of ancestral, like, digging and work and stuff recently, and I've also done a lot of ancestral stuff, and a lot of times people will focus on, like, what are the traumas that people went through, and, like, what am I holding on to in myself, and they don't necessarily look at what are the gifts that I've received.
Yeah.
And one of the most beautiful gifts, and you've received it in your lineage as well, that I feel like I've received, is when I look at my paternal grandmother and her lineage, and I look at my paternal grandfather and his lineage, there is so much spirituality that was passed down through those generations, and they were, like, you know, the church leaders, and they were starting their own churches, and they were starting their own religions and all of this sort of stuff. And when we talk about, like, saving the world, I go back to my grandmother's great something or other, who back in 1437 planted a seed of, I'm not joining this religion, I'm starting my own. And here it is 600 years later, and that seed that she planted has gone through all of these generations to the point where I can express my spirituality freely and openly now.
Yeah.
And if she hadn't, who knows what that would look like. The whole family may have been different, the dynamics may have been different, but I think sometimes we don't get to actually witness the changes that we've created for those future generations and how that's going to impact those future generations. And I get it. I'm like, I want to see the results now. Yeah. But I also want the great grandchildren to also experience the abundance of that.
Yes. We have to trust that that will. Funny enough, yes, we both had ancestors that built churches. And I'll say, you know, we're not religious. We respect religion. We respect all religions.
I love it.
But it's not like we're...
I'm not going to church every Sunday and following a specific...
We believe.
Yeah.
And we trust. But it's not like we're, at this point in time, going to go and build a church.
Yeah.
But you can see how that has played out through both of our lineages. And you could see it's now our turn to take that plight on and that journey and that vision. So,
and to pass on that torch to someone eventually.
And it changes and shifts, you know, so you can see the differences along the way and through the years, how things have changed and how people have lost faith, and some that haven't, and some that, you know, that's where they I want to say hide or hid all of their emotions, all of the stuff that they wanted to express, because, you know, I'm religious and I'm going to trust God. I'm not going to speak of this, that, and the other thing. And they have all of this inside. Where I think we have a more holistic approach, where we're talking about real things.
Yeah.
As well, we're talking about the divinity, and we're talking about these synchronicities or these little miracles that come up.
Yeah.
But more, I think it's more of in a real sense.
Yeah.
Not just like in what the Bible or the Quran or whatever dictated this was the lesson and this is how you should be.
Yeah.
We're listening to ourselves and listening to what is...
Well, what feels most true to us now, right? And I mean, I think we're so privileged in the sense that we're growing up in a time and age where the religious structure isn't as hard set as what it once was, you know, and we don't live in a area that's like, you have to believe this or you're shunned by the entire community. Like around us, I don't even know how many churches there are in this city, but I'd guess about 350. Maybe
more.
You think more, and I don't know how many different religious teachings there are in this city. So there's so many options, and then of course we've got the internet where we can learn and find out all of this stuff. But you're right, there was a lot of people hiding a lot of emotions behind the structure of the church, and one was, I can't speak about this because I could be ostracized by the church if they knew what was actually going on.
Yeah.
And also, I will use God as kind of like this protector of this. And I just think of my grandmother, when she was always a very religious, very, very faithful woman. And she used to pinch me and my sister on our legs when we were in church because we'd get bored because the sermon was like, it was so boring. My grandfather fell asleep and my sister and I poked at each other and whatnot. So she'd reach over and pinch us to get us to calm down. But when she had Alzheimer's and she saw my two oldest when they were younger, and she actually thought it was my dad and his brother, and she thought I was 12 years old, so her brain was not able to be in the same reality. But the one thing that affected me the most, which I didn't realize until years later, is she told me that she was going to go to heaven soon, and she was going to meet her father there, speaking of God, and that she'd waited her entire life to get there. And it wasn't until years later that I realized that at a time in her life where she forgot who her children were, who I was, who everything was, she did not actually lose her faith. And that to me is like the most powerful gift that she's given me, because there's been so many times where I've lost that faith, or I felt like I lost my faith. I basically turned from God. But yeah. And I wish at times now I could sit down and talk to her and just ask her how she held on to her faith straight through until the end. Like,
just gotta believe.
Right?
I don't say God, or, you know, I usually say universe or whatever, but it's that trust. It's that, you know what, something's got me this far, and I've said this a number of times, where it's like, it's got me this far, so whatever that is, I will trust that it's going to get me to where I need to be.
Yeah.
And every step of the way, every day that I wake up, every challenge that I face, I have to trust that whatever that is is doing this for purpose.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I think there's a good expectation. I expect that God's plan is the best plan for me, or I expect that the universe is always aligned for me, right? Which then would mean no matter what is showing up, it is the always perfectly aligned plan. And that can be hard to receive sometimes because you get things that you don't prefer, and it's like, well, how can this be part of God's plan?
Yes, and that's another thing that we did talk about is preferred reality, right? Your preferences, and I mean that kind of all goes in with your expectation of, you know, it's not necessarily you're looking for the good thing; it's your preferred versus not preferred.
Yeah.
And yeah, that really does go back to having an expectation. I guess.
But to me, it's like allow yourself to be fluid. Right? Yeah. Allow yourself to live in this kind of liquid reality where you're not carved in stone as to who you are.
Go with the flow, baby.
Yes. Oh, go figure. I used to hate that saying so much.
I used to use it it used to be my catchphrase. I used to, just let it go, water off a duck's back.
And I was like, you expect me to go with the flow? We are headed towards Niagara Falls right now. We need to go against the flow. But
really, all you can do is just
go with the flow
and the flow and
to stay open to however life is wanting to be experienced through you.
Where that current takes you, where that, where that river forks or whatever is. It's where it is meant to be. Yeah.
And because we went tubing a few years ago. Well, we've gone tubing quite a few times, but our very first time going tubing, when there was more of a flow, there's like more rocks in the water and the water moves a little bit faster there or whatever. Yeah. So much fun. It's like, I could do this forever. It's great. And then when the water got still, and we had to paddle through like this very still water. It was like, oh my God, this is excruciating. Yeah. And I wonder if our souls, when we're up there making our soul contracts or whatever, if we're like, okay, let's place some rocks in the water here. These are going to be some big challenges, and some over here and some over here. And we forget that, right? So we come down here and we start going with the flow. And we forget that we put all these rocks in our water so that we could have a little bit of fun. Because up there, they look down and they're like, oh, that's fun. Look at all the emotional lessons they're going through right now. That's great. They're feeling so much, And we forget. We forget that we've created this for ourselves. Yeah. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just thinking that, we always think or have these ideas that this journey was placed or planned so long ago. And I was just having the thought of, what if the plan was created so far ahead? So you've forgotten all the rocks and all the stuff that you put in the way for purpose, right?
Yeah.
Because if your future self is pulling you towards that destination.
Yeah.
You know where you are in that future state. You know what took to get you there. So you're going to plan because you want to get to that place.
Yeah.
You're going to plan it out, and you're going to place these things and these lessons and all this stuff in a certain order so you get to that place.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be like planning a road trip, right? Like if I wanted to go to New York City tomorrow, right? I'm going to look ahead to go, where can I stop and get gas? Where can we stop and eat? Where can we get out to stretch our legs? Based on this kind of journey of this is where I want to go. But it would be like, I guess you're going the reverse of that.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Where you're not looking to the future is pulling you towards it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I think both are true. Right? In this fluid reality, both are true.
Well, you would say they have to be true, right?
Yeah.
Like, it is one of those things that if one, then the other has to be also a true statement.
And I guess because we're living from here now, right, in this present moment, we can only look there and go, this is what I have to do to get there. But also, I can look now at, say, my childhood, right? And I can go, this is what I had to go through to get here. So me now is actually pulling my child childhood self forward, which is essentially the same as doing compassion key of like giving yourself what you needed back then.
Yeah. Well, we do that a lot, right? As we look back at the past, we talk about looking at ancestors and stuff like. We look at the past.
Yeah.
We don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about
what about the future.
Was it future ancestors that in the inverse of that?
Yeah.
So we look back at our ancestors, what they did, all this stuff. We never spend too much time thinking about what did my future people. Or what are my future people pulling me towards?
Yeah, that's such an interesting concept, eh? It's like to think of the people that have not even been born yet. And what do they need from us now to help them unravel what their truths are and express their highest selves. And
maybe this conversation and maybe this podcast is what...
Isn't that crazy?
It has to be, right? You have to think it is adding to that piece.
It's just crazy because, like, imagine if we could have a podcast of our ancestors, like this woman that I know of from 1437, Elspeth is what her name is, kind of like Elizabeth, but it's missing the I and the A.
There's a big show on TV now with that name, so yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. So anyways, if she could have had a podcast back then to share, like, this is what my truth is, and yes, I'm going against all of this because this is my truth and this is what I hope for you or whatnot. And now, because of the digital age that we live in, we could have, great grandchildren in like the year 2200 or something like that are able to like actually watch us and witness this moment right now. Like, that's crazy in my mind.
Yeah.
It's exciting. And it's like, I hope I say the right things for them. We love you.
It absolutely has to be the right things. And there's another thing that we've been talking about a little bit lately, and I wanted to just mention it because I do think that it's important that people understand that, our views and the way we conduct ourselves and all that kind of stuff, and our thoughts, and sometimes it can be lonely, right? We talked about this a little last night, where it's very isolating because, you are not agreeing with people in the standard that they're putting out, because a lot of people do function from an ego state and I want this or do this or whatever, and it can be very isolating, and it can be very lonely because you don't want to. What is the alternative? I can be like them. I can be in that part of the journey. Oh, well, I already did that part of the journey. Yeah. So I'm here. Yeah. And it can be very difficult because it's like, okay, well then who do I talk to? I mean, we have each other. Yeah. But what I'm starting to come to realize is those people, there's plenty of people out there. And people have the same struggles where it's like they want to jump back and forth in between this and this. Yeah. Because it is isolating. Yeah. And it's lonely. And that sounds bad. It sounds terrible. It's not. It's just...
Yeah, but you kind of realize, like, you have to be okay with that alone. Yeah. And it's not alone in a bad, like, there's different states of alone, right? Like, there's the alone, I'm completely by myself in the dark and I'm isolated there. Yeah. There's the alone of I'm choosing to be alone and I need a moment alone. And this state of kind of loneliness is kind of somewhere in between the two of those, because you're feeling that sense of disconnection with others because it's so easy to connect with people over the trauma and drama of life. Yeah. It is not so easy to connect with people when it's like you're creating your reality. Yeah. Right?
Well, I mean, we could walk down the street and have or try to have a conversation with somebody about, hey, lose your expectations on everything. Yeah. And people will be like, what's wrong with you? But what I was going to get to was, people will start to gravitate towards that. Like, you will find your people. Yeah. And it does take a little bit longer, or it does seem to take a little bit longer. And there's people that are like half in, half out that you'll resonate with sometimes you won't. Yeah. Right? Sometimes you can have a really great conversation, and other times it's like, what happened here? Where did this other person go?
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think that actually brings it back to expectations, right?
It does.
Like the idea of I'll find my people, to me, it's like I would love to find a soul tribe that like we can just sit like 100 of us and sit and have these kinds of conversations. And I've had experiences of that throughout my life, but they're not like long lasting relationships or anything like that. And then it makes me go, so what in my mind is telling me that the people I have right now are not my people?
And
Right?
yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the people that are in your life are not your people or our people, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I still, like I said, I collectively think that we're all
Well,
part
and
of
that's
that
just
unit,
it, right?
right? It's that resonancy, and that resonancy can be gone. It can be, you know what, I'm at this place in my journey, and you're at your place in your journey.
And it's all perfect.
And it's all perfect, but those waves are closer together, so we can talk, we understand each other. As you continue your journey, those frequencies, the vibration may change, and we may not. Yeah, okay, we could talk like this, and then tomorrow, all of a sudden, we're not talking. We're not on the same page.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that you can find like you said, you have these people that, for a moment, this was where it was at, because you were on that same frequency. And then you move on. Maybe you're still on that same frequency, but probably not, right? You're doing your life and you're living your journey, and
Yeah.
could be lower, could be higher, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
But I think that's where you get those pieces where it's like these people come into your field at that time because they're at that same frequency you're at. You can talk, things flow nice, your conversation's good.
Yeah.
Everybody, you have the same mindset, and then a few years later it could be totally different.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we really have to honor those moments where like that frequency alignment is happening. It's like there's something magical in that frequency, and just in that kind of alignment, it's like that's a miracle.
And call it out, right? We've done that. I know I said it a few years ago, where it's like it is truly a miracle that we are here in this existence at this point in time, with each other, talking about these things.
Yeah.
But how many times do you have those things happen and you don't call it out, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, wow, do you understand what just happened here?
Yeah.
Like, I always try to, or more so now, I guess, try to vocalize these things. I mean, we've had some little synchronicities that happen, but I talk about them now more than I ever did, because it's like they have purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I need somebody to witness that. I need somebody to I don't need somebody to witness it. I want somebody to witness it. I want somebody to see the miracles in this life.
Yeah. Well, and like when you shared that perspective with me about like, do you realize what a miracle this is in this moment and whatnot? And it was such a beautiful and tender moment between us. And we can spend so much time complaining and grumbling and bitching and moaning and going on and on and on and on about the shit that's not right.
Yeah.
Or we can look at what a miracle this is.
Yeah.
That out of 8 billion people, we were able to find each other, right? All these odds against us and whatnot, and yet the universe still made it happen. How could it be anything less than divine?
Absolutely. And I will go even further than that, because it's 8 billion people. You think of the molecules, atoms, this, that, all the things that had to come together to create the journey of our ancestors to get us to this point. Like, to me, we don't think of it in that sense, but when you do, it's like, man, even like this is a miracle.
Yes, everything. Like,
like
truly everything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The fact that someone decided to boil some beans and create coffee out of it, miracle. Yeah. Yeah, it is amazing just how easily our mind, and I guess it comes from that state of separation from source, how we'll just kind of see everything as like, it's good or it's bad. It's not a miracle. Even like, and I've gone through this experience as a parent where it's like the idea of creating an entire body an entire consciousness, an entire human being is such a miracle, right? Like, wow. Like, just think about that for a moment. And then a child comes out and everyone's like, oh, they're so perfect. They're so precious. Such perfection. What a little miracle. What a little angel, whatever. And then they start to get a personality of their own. Right?
Then we start influencing them.
Well, we influence them. Life influences them. And we don't necessarily look at our children anymore and go, wow, you're such a miracle.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know when that naturally shifts. And I imagine it probably comes from like exhaustion and having to, wipe their butt and all of this other sort of stuff. It's like a child requires a lot of attention and they require a lot of energy from you. But we stop saying, oh, look at you and how perfect you are.
Yeah.
It's only the newborn that we really say that to. And it crosses my mind constantly of like, why am I not saying to the kids, to you, to just look at how perfect you are. What a beautiful, and the mind automatically goes, well, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
Right? There's a set of expectations that comes with, if I'm perfect, this is how I have to perform, or this is how I have to be. And it's like, but who you are, everything that you are,
perfection.
It is absolute perfection. It's absolute.
You too.
Yes, it's you guys too. We're all such a divine source, and we came from perfection. Divinity is perfection. And actually, David Hawkins, he equates perfection to peace. And so when you've got no expectations, you can be at peace with whatever's showing up, which is actually perfection, right? And it's, we're all miracles.
We are.
And we're all perfect in our own divine way. So
we're all perfect, period.
Yeah.
No other way.
Yes. And we just need to remember that.
Yes.
And really take that in. Yeah.
Alrighty. It's another week.
Yeah.
I think that was a good conversation. I really do like...
I like where we were going with that.
No, I do like that concept, the expectation piece, right? Well, I think that would be my message to everybody, is to really focus on that and think about it. And just, when you get angry, was it you that created that?
Yeah.
Just
get curious. How did I create that for myself?
Yeah.
And also, why did I create that for myself?
And then go from there.
Yeah.
Or come and talk to us.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here today. We look forward to connecting with you again next time right here on the Sacred Exchange.
Take care, folks.